Boatworks today is sponsored by Total Boat and Alexial Yacht Coatings, as well as supported by the generosity from the beautiful folks over on Patreon. Thank you so much.
So welcome back to the shop, everybody. Hope you're all doing well. My name is Andy with Boatworks today. Now, as you can see from the title of this video, there's some things that I want to cover. But before jumping into that, I want to get some of the FYI stuff out of the way. Now, if you have a project coming up where you're intending to use Alexial, as we all know, most manufacturers on the first of the year, there are price increases, and Alexial is no different. Off the top of my head, I want to say that on average, their price increases are 3, 4. I don't know that they push 5% on some of the stuff. Maybe they do. It depends on what the raw materials that they have to source. What their increases are. But anyways, the point being that starting in the calendar year, there are going to be some price increases. So if you're looking to save a few bucks, trying to get your materials sourced now will save you a few more bucks than if you were to try and do it after the first of the year. Now, everything that I have on hand right now, that's all going to stay at the current year's, the 24 pricing, until it needs to be replenished. And then obviously, prices are going to have to be adjusted accordingly. So again, if you have a project coming up, if you can source those Alexial products, just so you have them on hand, it will allow you to save a few bucks. And also, as a reminder for the folks over on Patreon, you always get 10% off on any of your Alexial purchases. There is no limit. So with that said, let's move on. So over the course of the summer, there's been 2 reoccurring questions that I've been getting daily, and no exaggeration. The first one being, how are the shoulders doing? And the second being, are you ever going to be able to get back on the Bertram? So let's talk about that one, since they're both pretty tightly connected. Now, there's been quite a few people that have come on over the past 6-8 months. Now, if you're not familiar, over the course of this summer, I had surgery on both of my shoulders. The one was injured, a year ago on Thanksgiving, so basically a year old. And this one, the left one, that was injured, that was before my girls were even born, so 14, 15 years ago. The timeline on that is somewhat irrelevant. But I had both of these shoulders done, and the procedure was fairly extensive. I'm not going to get off on the details on that one, but let's just say the recovery on this, I was told right up front, is not going to be quick, and it's not going to be easy. So as far as where things are at, so my first shoulder, this was done in April, so roughly 8 months ago. I would say it's doing quite well. If I had to put a number on it, I would say I'm probably 90% mobile, and about 90% of my strength is back. So that's good. Now, my other shoulder, my left, the one that was done about 4 months ago, not so much. If I had to say, maybe 70-ish, 70-80% mobility. But the stick in the eye is that I would be surprised if I have 30% of my strength back. And which is frustrating. That's very frustrating. But what's even more frustrating is that it didn't have to play out like this. Not at all. So I'm gonna try my best not to go off on a rant. This is something that is really easy for me to get fired up about. I'm gonna try my best to kind of dial things, reel things in, keep it civil. But the insurance company it's 100% on them. And I'm gonna do my best. I'm not gonna name names, but what I will say is that the company, they love their crosses, they love their shields, and their favorite color is blue, right? Now, in their infinite wisdom, they reluctantly approved my second surgery. They were asking all sorts of ridiculous questions, but again, I'm not going to go off on the weeds. But they reluctantly, after a couple of weeks of back and forth and having to have my doctor give them a push, the surgeon, and whatever, it was a fiasco. But anyways, they reluctantly approved it. I'm like, this is awesome. And then they promptly declined all follow-up care, which means I haven't had any physical therapy on this shoulder, through a physical therapy place. My first shoulder I was there twice a week. It went fantastic. It was awesome. But they declined all PT for my second surgery with the explanation being, well, you're only allowed 30 visits a year. Whether that's for a chiropractor or for physical therapy or whatever it may happen to be, you get 30 visits a year, and then you're on your own. So, talking with them, they said, well, you've already met your maximum, and you can still pay out of pocket. I'm like, oh, okay, well, that's awesome. That's very generous of you. So physical therapy is $100 a session out of pocket, and I go in twice a week. That's, $800 a month. On top of the almost $2,400 a month for my premiums. And then there's also the $30,000 for my deductible, the max out of pocket. Yeah, these two surgeries, my out of pocket costs on that tallied up to 30 grand. Now, I'm not going to go off on the weeds, but there's some sneaky business going on between in-network and non-network stuff. Again, not going to get into that. So talking with him, I said, all right, well, that's fine. If I go through and I got to pay this $800 cash out of pocket, can that be applied towards my monthly deductible? Oh, no, we're very sorry, but we can't do that. All right. Well, is there any way that this can be applied, somehow they wouldn't be involved with the max out of pocket or the deductible costs, but, oh, no, that's hands off on us, but good luck. Are you Sorry, I got a little fired up there, I guess. So needless to say, I've been doing the best I can with what I have to work with. But reality is there's only so much that you can do with one of those rubber band things and some cans of soup as far as exercises and stretching. It's not the same as being able to go in and have somebody physically manipulate your shoulder and stretch it out in a way that it needs to be stretched. I haven't been able to figure out a way to replicate that on my own. But kind of a little bit of a silver lining at the end of the tunnel here. I did go 2 stores down from where I have my paint store. There's a gym. So I went in and talked with the owner, and what we've worked out is that he also does a lot of training. So what we worked out is that he's going to work with me 3 days a week in the mornings, first thing in the morning, on some strength, some conditioning, and then trying to get some stability back in my shoulder. And I think, and he's got all the fancy tools, all the fancy toys, right? So I have some high hopes about this. Can't say I'm exactly looking forward to that. I've really never loved going to the gym. I've always kind of figured that, if you need to get a workout, do your workout doing your actual work. But whatever, it is what it is. So I have that coming up. That's going to be for the next 3 weeks, and 3 days a week. So I hopefully that's going to make some pretty significant progress, but we shall see. Now, this all kind of comes back full circle and ties back into the Bertram. Now, this girl right here, this is a 1972 Bertram Moppie 25 that I acquired. I took it in on trade about, 12, 13, 14, maybe even 15 years ago, give or take. And over the years, for the most part, for the first 10 years, it just sat because I was still doing contract work for hire. Kind of in the middle of that rat race, and this was in storage. I never had a chance to even touch it. So about three-ish years ago, things changed, and I was able to, actually get started on this. However, a lot of things have happened over these past 3 years. We moved from Wisconsin to Michigan, sold the shop, so I had to completely move the shop from point A to point B, which that was always fun. Then once we moved to the new location here, this place, none of this was finished, nothing. So I had to go ahead and build out, finish the shop, get the addition put on. That took up a couple of years for the most part. I'm doing this all on my own. I contracted out what I had to have contracted, but otherwise I took care of everything else on my own. And then I jacked up my shoulders. Now, again, like I had mentioned earlier, my first one was jacked up a long time ago. But this one, a little over a year ago. But until that happened, I at least had one good wing where I could at least kind of fumble my way through and, kind of half-ass get some stuff done. But with both of them cooked, I was pretty much, dead in the water. So all that to say that, with this project, even though I've kind of been piecing away at it a little bit over the last 3 years, I haven't really had a chunk of time where I could really sink my teeth into it and stick with it. It's always been, I'll get a week, 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks, and then I got to, switch gears and go move or, do something, right? So the way that it's looking now, what I'm anticipating being able to have happen is for the next 3 weeks, I'm going to be working with Dan. We're going to try and get the strengthening and conditioning done on my shoulders, see if I can make some fairly significant progress there. So that then after the first of the year, starting in January, then I will be able to get back up on this full time again, full time, no more distractions. So that's the plan. Now, as far as what I'm going to be able to do between now and then, there's a lot. I mean, to be quite honest, I've kind of forgot where I left this thing off. So I need to refamiliarize myself with where I left off, take inventory of all the materials, put together a list of, kind of to-dos on a weekly basis. I want to treat this like I used to treat customer projects when they came in the door. Okay, on this week, this has got to get done. Next week, that's got to get done. And set deadlines and dates and hold myself accountable. As long as I can, manage with this, I have no excuses for not being able to make some significant progress on this over the summer. Now, let me just take you up there so you can kind of see where things are at, and maybe it'll jog my memory on a few things. Now, keep in mind, I have not been up on this boat, I don't know, I'm going to say close to 6 months. So hopefully it's not too gross. Ugh. Not terrible. I've definitely seen worse, but you can tell that I was anticipating coming back up and doing a clean at some point, but hey, I did have a can of acetone. What do you know? So now, as far as what I have left to do up here, I do still have some, I wouldn't say a ton of structural work yet to do, but there definitely is some. On top of that, then I need to switch gears and get into figuring out the mechanical side of things. Now, that is not my strong suit as far as dealing with fuel tanks and fuel lines and the electrical part of it and I can figure out how things need to get run, but as far as what specifically needs to be in place before I start closing off the sides, that's not something I'm real familiar with. And then after that, then the fun part begins, which was what I thought I was going to have to do when I took the boat in. And that's all I thought I was going to have to do, which is going to be to finish out this interior. And unfortunately, it was not quite that simple. This entire transom needed to get ripped out and replaced. So I did that, beefed it up with Kusa, and I think there's like 6 layers of 1708 on this interior side, as well as beefing up the corners. And I still need to put in some bracing knees because this was an IO that was converted into for accommodating twin outboards. That's an Armstrong bracket. I also changed the layout up in here. Put in some more storage, made this what I think is going to be a bit more functional. Putting in some storage lockers and I've been looking for that. And that kind of thing. And then the interior, not sure what all I'm doing here other than, just give it a facelift and finish it off. But that's not going to be one of the first things I'm working on. But some of the other things I've also done, I replaced these bulkheads with the appropriate thickness material. So now it's actually correct. I had to reinforce this foredeck because that was a little crunchy up there. There's videos on that if you'd like to go back to the library and watch those. And then I put in some of these side knee braces just to stiffen up these side decks. Before, you couldn't even sit on them without hearing a bunch of noise that you should not be hearing. And then, again, the transom. Now, something that I do need to sort out probably sooner than later is this fuel tank. Now, this is a brand new fuel tank that came with the boat. However, I'm thinking I figured out why the tank itself was never installed. When I got this dropped in place, which fits in right under this cover here. When I got this tank dropped in place, the tops of these fittings for the fill and the sensor and the vent line and all that stuff, the tops of that, before putting any elbows or connections, anything on there, the top of that was already pretty much flush with this deck here. So I don't think that tank is going to fit. Maybe there's some modifications that I can do as far as, cutting out this bottom section of flow of, right in through here. It looks like it's a bit of a false platform that was put in by the previous owner. So maybe I can cut that out and then drop it down an extra, I don't know, I'm guessing I'm going to need an extra 4 or 5 inches of clearance. But again, that is just strictly a guess because that side of things is not something I have really ever done. So that'll be interesting. So there's still quite a bit to do. Most of it I'm looking forward to. I can't say I'm excited about all of it. I'm especially the mechanical stuff. I know I'll figure it out. And I have people that I can kind of lean on a little bit if I have to try and get some information or some help. But it's going to be virtual help. It's not like they're going to be able to be here to actually give me a hand. So, well, one way or the other, we'll figure it out. So my goal with this boat is to turn it into a bit of a pimped out cocktail cruiser. I know that, a lot of these boats are used for fishing, but that's not really, what I'm looking to do with it. I want to turn it into, like I said, kind of an upscale sundowner cocktail cruiser kind of a boat. So if this sounds like a project that is going to pique your interest, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and also drop a like. We got to feed the YouTube gremlins here. Otherwise, you get on their naughty list. Also, if you have some boating buddies that you think might, have an interest in following along on this, go ahead and share this video with them. And again, tell them like and subscribe. That'd be awesome. But until then, I think I'm just going to wrap this one up. It's Saturday night, and we still got to do the finish off the Christmas tree and all the other good stuff. Monday is going to come too soon. So with that said, rather than sitting here rambling, I think this is going to be a good place to end this video. So as always, I hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you found this interesting and are looking forward to the upcoming project here. And if you are, like I said, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and the notification bell. Thank you in advance. Much appreciated. If you have any questions, comments, suggestions, feel free to leave those down below in the comment section. I will be sure to follow up with you. And as always, I want to thank you for your time. Thanks for watching. If I don't talk to you before then, have a safe holidays, a great Christmas, and a safe New Year's. And I'll see you next year.
This has been a Boatworks Today production.